The world of Chinese entertainment has always had a way of drawing people into stories that feel almost too real to ignore. Sometimes, the most captivating narratives are not the ones written in scripts, but the ones that seem to unfold quietly behind the scenes. Recently, all eyes have turned toward two names whose on-screen chemistry has sparked endless curiosity: Bai Jingting and Zhang Ruonan. At first, many assumed that their closeness was simply part of their work, two talented actors doing what they do best, bringing characters to life with convincing emotion. But as time passed, something about their interactions began to feel different. Subtle, almost unnoticeable at first, yet increasingly difficult to dismiss. Fans started asking a question that refuses to fade. What if this isn't just acting? What if something real began to grow between them? Looking back at the beginning of their journey, everything seemed perfectly normal. Two professionals meeting through a project, following the familiar rhythm of the industry. Script readings, rehearsals, discussions about character motivations, and long hours spent on set. There was no dramatic spark, no instant moment that stood out as the beginning. And yet, that is often how the most genuine feelings start, not with intensity, but with quiet presence. As their time together increased, small changes began to appear. The kind of changes that are easy to overlook unless you are paying close attention. The way Bai Jingting listened when Zhang Ruonan spoke seemed more attentive than usual. His focus didn't drift. His reactions felt sincere, as if he wasn't just responding as a co-star, but as someone genuinely interested in her thoughts. These moments, though simple, carried a certain weight. Behind-the-scenes clips offered even more glimpses into their dynamic. Their laughter didn't feel rehearsed or forced. It flowed naturally, as if they had already built a comfort zone that didn't need effort to maintain. Their playful exchanges had a softness to them, something that suggested familiarity beyond what the script required. It wasn't about grand gestures. It was about consistency in the smallest interactions. What makes this even more intriguing is that there was no single turning point that clearly changed everything. No dramatic confession, no sudden shift that marked a before and after. Instead, whatever was growing between them seemed to develop gradually, almost invisibly. And that gradual progression is exactly what makes people believe it could be real. Because genuine feelings rarely arrive all at once. They build over time, shaped by shared experiences and quiet understanding. Many fans believe that the most significant phase came during the more intense period of filming. This is when actors spend extended time together, often under pressure, navigating emotional scenes and long working hours. In such conditions, people tend to reveal more of their true selves. The professional barrier begins to soften, and authenticity naturally comes through. During this period, Bai Jingting appeared to show a different level of attentiveness toward Zhang Ruonan. Not in a way that demanded attention, but in quiet, thoughtful gestures. The kind that might go unnoticed by many, yet feel significant when observed closely. Whether it was making sure she was comfortable or instinctively stepping in to help, these actions carried a sense of care that felt deeply personal. One particular moment often discussed by fans captures this shift perfectly. It was not a grand scene or a dramatic exchange, but something far more subtle. A brief moment where Bai Jingting looked at Zhang Ruonan with an expression that seemed to hold more than simple attention. His gaze was calm, warm, and steady, almost as if, in that instant, everything else faded into the background. It didn't feel like acting. It felt like recognition. Love does not always announce itself in obvious ways. It doesn't always arrive with clarity or certainty. Sometimes, it grows quietly through comfort, the kind of comfort that makes silence feel easy and presence feel natural. In this case, it seems that the bond between them may have formed through exactly that process. Spending so much time together inevitably creates a unique connection. They shared not only scenes, but also the rhythm of daily work, the exhaustion of long shoots, and the small, unplanned moments in between. These shared experiences often build a foundation that goes beyond professional interaction. Over time, the line between colleague and something more begins to blur. What stands out is the lack of exaggeration in their interactions. There is no obvious attempt to display closeness for the public, and perhaps that is why it feels more believable. Body language, fleeting expressions, and spontaneous reactions often reveal more truth than carefully chosen words. In many of their interactions, there is a sense of ease that cannot easily be fabricated. Of course, it is important to acknowledge that nothing has been officially confirmed. Everything that people see and interpret remains within the realm of speculation. But speculation, in this case, is fueled by patterns rather than isolated moments. It is the consistency of their behavior that keeps the conversation alive. So when exactly did Bai Jingting fall in love with Zhang Ruonan? The truth is, there may never be a single, precise answer. Feelings like this rarely begin at a clearly defined moment. They unfold gradually, often without either person realizing when everything started to change. Perhaps it wasn't one moment, but many. A series of small, meaningful interactions that slowly built into something deeper. A shared laugh that lingered a little longer than expected. A glance that carried more emotion than intended. A growing sense of comfort that quietly turned into something irreplaceable. In the end, whether this is truly love or simply a connection that feels deeper than usual is something only they can define. But for those watching from the outside, there is something undeniably beautiful about the possibility. Because sometimes, the most compelling stories are not the ones that are confirmed, but the ones that are felt. And maybe that is where the real answer lies. Not in identifying a single moment, but in recognizing a journey. A quiet, steady unfolding of emotion that, piece by piece, begins to look a lot like love. So what do you think? Was there really a moment when Bai Jingting's feelings for Zhang Ruonan quietly turned into something more? Or is this just a beautiful connection that fans are interpreting in their own way? Sometimes, the most genuine emotions aren't the ones that are confirmed, but the ones we can feel, even without words. If you enjoyed this story and want more deep dives into moments like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. And tell me, which moment convinced you the most? See you in the next video.